I finally introduced Richard to the family.
It must have been hard for Mum to go against her family's wishes. I'm glad she did. My birthday crown.
Well, this is a hell of a thing. I met someone tonight quite unexpectedly.
My parents made a good team, challenging each other from the start. A picture with Dad. This is probably my grandfather, Benjamin. The door to the library. Locked. There's got to be another way through. This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages. Too dark. Going to need a flashlight.
Hi, Dad. I've been thinking about Mum.
The Grand Hall. Always loved playing in here as a kid. This will be one of the first things to fix.
What are you doing sitting there on the floor, Mistress Lara?
Looking at the compass.
The offer came in the post last week.
Thinking.
What about, if I may inquire?
Just thinking about discovering faraway places. About finding adventure.
Got to remember to pack this for my next trip. Should be able to explore the dark now. Hey, Jonah. Sorry for not getting back to you.
Lara, since your return from your expedition to Yamatai, I've grown increasingly alarmed at your erratic behavior. I can only assume you suffered some kind of psychological trauma and...
Another one of Dad's immortality artifacts, I think. Not sure. I really need to brush up on my ancestors one of these days.
I'm sure you will, my lady. You've the soul of an explorer. But don't grow up too fast.
Falling apart. Maybe I should just let my uncle have this place.
They say a good test of a relationship is how well you travel together. Well,
I'm not surprised he asked her to marry him as soon as he got the idea. Just as creepy as I remember.
My lord, I hope this missive finds you on a successful expedition and in good health. Before I bore you with estate affairs, I wanted to let you know that our little angel has been into some mischief. As always, I indulged her in our usual game of chess. Over the course of the game, she broached the subject of her mother. She's having trouble remembering her now, and wanted to enter her ladyship's atelier, which you sealed off, to play on her mother's piano. It enraged her when she wasn't allowed to go in, of course. For someone so young, she has such strong emotions. Later in the day, she set a trap for me in the walk-in freezer, of all places. Before...
Poor Winston. I remember being so angry. He was always so patient with me.
King to Queen 1. I'm going to win this time, Winston.
Clever girl. But you should know by now, winning isn't everything. Queen to King's Bishop 6. Check.
Easy for you to say. You always win. Knight takes Queen.
What I mean to say is try to enjoy the journey, Lara. Don't rush to victory. Bishop to King 7.
I know, Winston. I just want...
I would play chess with our old butler,
Oh no! I didn't even see that!
You should also know by now, I'm not to be trifled with on this board, young lady. Mate.
Oh, I am going to win. Someday.
I'm at a crossroads now. Good lord, that's such a cliche.
Everything is almost ready for Mistress Lara's birthday expedition surprise. It's been a bit of an all-hand...
Dad loved a good bottle of wine.
Dad, this is it! The basement of despair!
Indeed, Lara. Muster your courage, for this is the only path to the Library of Infinite Knowledge.
Look there! See the string?
An ancient Egyptian tripwire. The Keepers of Knowledge want none to disturb their treasures. We must tread carefully.
Let me lead. I know how to spot all the traps.
I'm sure you do, my darling. Lead on.
One of the wire traps Winston made for my birthday expedition. Water damage from the main hall above. This bust of Anubis was from Dad's Egyptian collection. Plans for adding electricity to the manor. Dad used to say his granny hated all the bright lights.
Amelia left tonight. She packed her suitcase and walked right out of here, and I didn't even notice. Like those days in the Oxford Library before we even met. I just had my nose in a book, lost in my own world.
Okay, Dad's ledger has to be in here somewhere. Hopefully it has the combination to the safe.
I've created a...
I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual number hieroglyph.
Now, let me see. These two myths are
This
referencing
was always one of...
same source material. But where did I see this image?
Dad, I think it's this one, in the chapter on Egyptian districts.
Why, yes, I think you're right, Lara.
I remember the page with the illustration of Ra.
My goodness, you've been paying attention, haven't you? This could be an important breakthrough.
Does this mean I'm your research assistant?
That and more, my darling girl.
Takes me back. Those were good times. The best times.
I've reached the monastery. As Roth predicted, it was hidden deep in the Himalayas.
Dad was looking for an elixir. Was it the elixir of life?
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure. My favorite painting by Amelia. The day of our wedding anniversary.
Okay, got to find those objects to figure out the combination to the safe. There's something else here. Dad's lighter. I don't remember him ever using it, though. Okay, should be able to light the fireplace now. This is my handiwork. I used to love drawing pictures of tigers. Spent so many hours in here, reading, dreaming of my own adventures. Took quite a tumble off of this old thing when I was a girl. Still feel it in the shoulder from time to time. This music is familiar. It's beautiful. It appears Sir Reginald's helmet fell off. Or didn't I put it back properly? This picture was taken in the library. Blank, except for the image of a key. I remember this map now. It leads to the master key, but we made it with a special kind of invisible ink. It could only be seen with the heat of a fire. One of Winston's notes. He always hid sweets for me to find.
I always accepted that Richard's rather unorthodox research was just...
This should help me read the map. I can see the map. Looks like the key is hidden under a trunk near the bookcase. X marks the spot, as they say. The master key. This should get me into the West Wing. All right. This should open most rooms in the manor, including the forbidden West Wing. The Pharaoh's crown from my birthday treasure hunt. How old was I again? 6? 8? Okay, clues mention Mum's paintings and their anniversary. Hopefully I can find some answers in the West Wing. Dad's artifacts from the Nile Valley. I always loved looking at these. Dad became interested in immortality myths after his expeditions to Egypt.
Lara, you know the West Wing is off limits.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to see...
We've been through this.
Was Mum's room in here?
Just stay out of there, darling.
Dad was always so protective of the West Wing. Worse than I thought.
With Amelia gone, the manor is a different place. A dimness pervades, a quiet I can't stand. Even though Lara is too young to understand what has happened, she also senses the change. She's asked after her mother only once, and I'm afraid my reaction must have terrified her. I will need Winston more than ever these next few months to help look after her. I never quite realized how much grief can consume a man, but I am utterly consumed. I know I can't escape the pain, but I will try my damnedest to avoid it. I will seal the West Wing for as long as I live in this place. It will remain exactly as Amelia left it. Perhaps someday Lara can find her own answers there.
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I've experienced...
Amelia would not have approved. That alone should have been the end of it. But I am, as God made me, a stubborn fool.
At least that old thing still works. Mum's wedding ring. I always wondered what happened to it.
I am bursting with pride. Amelia is with child. It is amazing how everything in life can change with such a simple event. Obviously, we don't know the gender, but already we've discussed possible names. Perhaps Benjamin, after my grandfather, or maybe Griffin. He was more infamous a Croft than even me. No, Amelia wouldn't have it. Besides, she's certain it's a girl. She favours a classic such as Scarlet or Kate, though I've made some headway with Lara. A subtle nod to the sun god Ra, and our days in Egypt, where certainly this child was conceived. I find myself thinking...
Dad may have discovered the secret to immortality without even knowing it. My mother's perfume. Mum, on her wedding day, she looks so beautiful. Their anniversary was in October, but which day? I can't believe I don't know this. There's got to be another clue somewhere. I remember this. Dad gave it to me. Pretty sure my parents were married in October. I think it was close to her birthday.
After everything Atlas has done, how could you tell him about the expedition?
It's just all been too much. I needed to talk to someone. He's still my brother.
I don't trust him.
You don't have to, Richard, but please, trust me.
I'm sorry, my dear, but I know him. He'll take it to the papers. The investors will pull out.
Then go.
I think this was Dad's pocket watch.
Without me, tonight. I will take care of Atlas, and then meet you in Tibet next week.
I was so young, but I still remember that terrible argument. It wasn't always an easy road for my parents. Mum's atelier. Dad sealed it soon after she died. Untouched for years, exactly as she left it.
I stood up to my family's criticism, stood in defence of Richard and our love. But as my new life began in Croft Manor, doubt set in.
I don't have any memory of this. Mum with me as a baby. Mum's paintings. Which one was Dad's favorite?
I returned home this afternoon to collect the last of my paintings. I suppose I should say I returned to my family's home. Atlas was there, in one of his foul moods, and even as he dripped venom for Richard with his cruel barbs, I could only laugh. To think that I once listened to my bitter brother in matters of my own happiness. My dismissal only served to infuriate him more. I left him there in Father's study, muttering to himself. On the drive back, as Winston took a longer route through the country, I looked through my paintings, Richard's favourite one among them, a simple abstract with blocks of red. I smiled, thinking about giving it to him. I was happy, and I was going home.
Okay, back to the study to open that safe.
You've almost got it, darling. Here, let me show you. Like this, see? Well done, Lara. Well done.
I wonder how my life would have been different had she lived. This was for a show in London of Mum's work. What I wouldn't give to see this today.
Lara arrived tonight.
I'm glad I still have so much of Mum's work.
Dad, what do you keep in there?
Nothing too important, Lara. Estate business and such.
If it's not important, then why bother putting it in a safe?
I should know better than to try and pull one over on you. There is something important in here. And it's for you, should you need it someday.
Well, let's hope you came through for me, Dad. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite painting by Amelia, the day of our wedding anniversary.
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I returned home this afternoon to collect the last of my paintings. I suppose I should say I returned to my family's home. Atlas was there, in one of his
Okay, found all the clues. Let's see if I can figure this out. No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite painting by Amelia, the day of our wedding anniversary.
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I've experienced the purity and...
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's...
I returned home this afternoon to collect the last of my paintings. I suppose I should say I returned to my family's home. Atlas was there, in one of his foul moods, and even as he...
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite paint...
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I've experienced the purity and chaos of his passion, and I came to realize I want his passion in my life every day. So it's done. Richard wanted to wait another 4 days until my birthday, but I wouldn't have it. Once I make a decision, I prefer to get on with it. So we found a small chapel in Luxor that was just right. And with Roth and the others at our side, we married as the sun set over this remarkable land. Mother will never forgive me. Atlas will forever... I returned home this afternoon to collect the last of my paintings. I suppose I should say I returned to my family's home. Atlas was there.
No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. the pharaoh's crown from my birthday treasure hunt. How old was I again? 6? 8? I remember this. Dad gave it to Mum on her birthday. I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual number hieroglyphs.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite painting by Amelia, the day of our wedding anniversary. For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite painting by Amelia, the day of our wedding anniversary.
I remember this now. Each
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I've experienced the pure...
No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. No, that's not it. No, that didn't work.